development and an enabling ecosystem for industrial growth in the state. The spirit of business first has been a part of all government activities, initiatives, and reforms. To further this spirit, the state government launched the new Industrial and Business Development Policy 2017, headlined by bold reforms. The policy is envisaged around 8 core strategic pillars, which are infrastructure, power, MSME, ease of doing business, startup and entrepreneurship, skills, fiscal and non-fiscal incentives, and stakeholder engagement. Policy incentives only exclusive to Punjab, such as GST reimbursement on both inter and intrastate sales and liberal employment subsidy, are among the key highlights of our industrial policy. The government is also offering competitive tariff rates for 24/7 quality power for all industries at ₹5 per unit till the year 2022. According to a study conducted by the Government of India, Punjab has been ranked the second best state in the country for ease of logistics. This rank, now held by the state for the second consecutive year, underscores its strength regarding ease of movement. Punjab also takes pride in a history of peaceful and cordial labor management relations. It has not witnessed any strikes or lockouts in the last 3 decades. The state allows 24-hour shifts for men and women in both the manufacturing and service sector. The state is also adopting a cluster approach for the development of MSMEs. The high-tech Cycle Valley in Ludhiana and Medicity in Mohali are examples of such cluster approach. In order to ensure a smooth transition of projects from proposal stage to the implementation stage, the government has set up the Punjab Bureau of Investment Promotion, also known as Invest Punjab. It is a one-stop office which provides regulatory clearances for 23 departments and also approves fiscal incentives. Furthermore, the Honorable Chief Minister has direct oversight into the working of this bureau, thus ensuring its operational success. Punjab has also taken up various other significant reforms like simplification of various processes and implementation of technology-based solutions to make the state a preferred investment destination. Just a few days back, Punjab government had approved various labor-related amendments, Industries Act, Industrial Disputes Act, and Contract Labour to further strengthen the state's investment climate. As a result of its policy initiatives, business reforms, and creation of support infrastructure, Punjab has been able to ground investments worth ₹50,000 crores, which is equivalent to $7 billion across different sectors in the last 2 years.
This has meant a subsidy.
Concluding, I would like to call upon everyone present here to embark on the journey of a long-term strategic partnership with the UK. Concurrent
Labor relations have always been peaceful in the state, and that's something we are very proud of. The government has also put in place a policy environment which supports, for example, 24-hour shifts, and very recently, as you know, amendments have been approved by the Council of Ministers to the Industrial Disputes Act, to the Factories Act, as well as the Contract Labour Act, which was a long-standing demand of industry. And we hope that the necessary legislative changes will now happen very shortly. Infrastructure is one of our strengths, in particular logistics. We are very pleased that Government of India conducts the lead study, and in the past 2 years consistently, Punjab has been ranked second in the country in the ease of logistics. This year also, we were ranked second, just behind Gujarat. Truck unions were abolished by the Chief Minister, as you know, and that is an assurance that we are determined to honor. There are efforts to upgrade the airports. The railway connectivity is excellent, but with the dedicated freight corridors coming up, we will see a much greater reduction in the cost of transportation. Our national highway network is also already an excellent one, and we are far from the ports, but we have ICDs and land ports to compensate. Invest Punjab as a one-stop window for regulatory clearances as well as for hand-holding investors. The MSME sector needed support in terms of getting their dues recovered from those that they had supplied to. And so the Facilitation Council, which was earlier housed only at the state headquarters, was in the initial stage dispersed to 7 important districts that worked well. Based on the feedback from industry, the state government has now notified at each district an MSE Facilitation Council. I believe we are the first state in the country to be doing that. Last year, we launched a portal, an end-to-end solution, single entry, single exit point. In recognition of the concern about settlement of commercial disputes, we have, with the support of the Punjab and Haryana High Court, set up a dedicated commercial court at Ludhiana. There have been significant improvements made in obtaining environmental clearances. And the big one, the cabinet has recently approved the Punjab Right to Business Act. Ladies and gentlemen, Rajasthan was the first state, followed by Gujarat very shortly, to have legislated on this. And we are very pleased that we are also now putting in place a legal framework where industry can come up in advance of approvals, and the state level approvals can be obtained within 3 years. So a 3.5-year window is actually going to become available so that industry can start at once. Other initiatives include the policy which was put in place after extensive stakeholder consultation in October 2017, which has major incentives in position, fiscal as well as non-fiscal, ease of doing business measures, which we hope will reflect in an improved ranking of the state in the upcoming survey, and other interventions that we will be talking about, I think, in detail as we go along. We've been working to improve access to finance. The MSME sector is important to us. We have been tying up with various funding agencies, but also ensuring that the government's own dues are paid up, including VAT refunds, including the payment of subsidies under old policies. We are trying to improve market access for our MSMEs. The Make in Punjab policy has been notified, which allows for preference in government procurement if there is at least 40% value addition in the state. We are working with e-commerce platforms, and some of that result you will see later today. And we are trying to ensure that we build B2B relationships for better access. Access to technology is one of the key pillars. We want our MSMEs to get more productive and thereby become stronger in every way. Several steps have been taken. There are many centers already in place. Skills is another area of great importance to us. The government has put in place a department for employment generation, and the Department of Industrial Training and the Department of Employment Generation have taken several measures, including long-term internships based on feedback from industry, from you all in this room, where you said that young children coming out of the technical training institutions don't actually have hands-on experience, and that experience only you can provide. And thank you very much, industry, for partnering with government on this. So that's where we are. To paraphrase a popular song, Apna time aayega. I hope you join me in the belief, Apna time aa gaya. Thank you very much.
Ms. Vinay Mahajan, thank you. Your closing words, a wonderful take on that popular and powerful line. It's a privilege to have with us someone who has an extremely distinguished record of service, both in the state and central government. He's an IAS officer of the 1986 batch of the Gujarat cadre. Please welcome Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra, Secretary, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Government of India. Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra will talk about the India scenario.
Sat Sri Akal and good morning. Distinguished and Honorable Minister of Industries of Punjab, my esteemed colleague, Additional Chief Secretary of Punjab, Vinny Mahajan, who looks after the Industries, Investment Promotion and Commerce portfolio, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. I would indeed congratulate Punjab government for organizing this investor summit and for inviting me to give this keynote address on the role of MSMEs, a very, very critical and important sector for India and Punjab in India's and Punjab's developmental story. The MSME sector, as we all know, has emerged as a highly vibrant and dynamic sector of the Indian economy over the last 5 decades. It contributes significantly to the economic and social development of the country by fostering entrepreneurship and generating largest employment opportunities at comparatively low capital cost, next only to agriculture. If you look at the role of the MSME sector in India as a whole, the MSME sector's contribution to the India's GDP has remained around 30% over the last several years. More than 11.1 crore jobs have been created as per the latest NSS 73rd round of data. The sector-wide job creations have been in all sectors, starting from manufacturing to trade and other services across the urban and rural areas of the country. MSME exports reported in 2017-18 was around 147.4 billion US, out of the total Indian exports of around 330 billion dollars, constituting almost a 50% share of the total exports. The MSMEs are widening their domain across sectors of the economy, producing diverse range of products and services to meet demands of the domestic as well as the global markets. If one particular slide of the ACS industry presentation is to be remembered, the kind of gamut of sectors that the MSMEs cover today, that's not only true in Punjab but in all states of the country now. The estimated number of MSMEs were around 633.88 lakh, out of which the share of manufacturing was 31%, share of trading units was 36%, and the share of other services was around 33%. There is a preponderance of micro units within the MSME sector, with nearly 630 lakhs out of 633 lakhs constituting 99% share in the total number of units. The small sector has 3.31 lakh units, while the medium sector has around 5 lakh units constituting around 0.52% and 0.01% of the total established MSME units. Now, if you look at the importance and the advantages that Punjab occupies in the country, Punjab, as we all know, is a land of opportunities and enterprises. Although geographically, the state accounts for around 1.5% of the total area in India, but it contributes nearly 3% to the national economy. The state's gross domestic product, the GSDP, in 2018-19 was around rupees 5,21,861 crores and increased at a CAGR of 9.75 crores in the last 2 years, a record which is truly to be proud of. For long, Punjab has been known as the food bowl of the country. This is due to the high yield of agri products like wheat and rice. Today, the state's strength can no longer be restricted to the food processing sector. It has gained prowess across myriad sectors like textiles and apparel, cycle and cycle components, auto components, electronics, mobility, light engineering, and so many other fields. The state has grounded investments worth rupees 50,000 crores in the last 2 years across varied sectors from agro and food processing to renewable energy and light engineering. Punjab is also the preferred investment destination for international companies. The state has received investments from the USA, UAE, Japan, Singapore, and Germany, and many other countries. I'm happy to note that some major projects include HMEL, Happy Forgings, Ultratech, Vardhaman Special Steels, and many investments. Punjab is strategically located as a connecting point to the hill states, as well as a very good connectivity to Delhi, both by air and road. It possesses robust logistics infrastructure and ranks second in the ease of logistics as the Government of India Logistics is across different states report, both of 2018 and 19. It has got the second highest rail density in the country, while the road density is twice the national average. The upcoming Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor will result in reduction in logistics cost by approximately 33%. Talking about the role of MSMEs in Punjab, Punjab is home to more than 2 lakh plus registered MSME units. Am I correct, Vinny? Okay. I am talking about the registered MSMEs, which form its industrial backbone. It covers sectors like auto components, agricultural implements, bicycle and bicycle parts, hand tools, yarn and textiles, and sports goods. As the cluster development approach is the best way to address many problems of MSMEs, Punjab boasts of several industrial clusters like Amritsar, Jalandhar, Kapurthala, Hoshiarpur, and Ludhiana. The challenges of the MSME sector is something which both the central government and the state government has to address. We all know the many challenges the MSME sector faces, be it lack of timely and adequate finance, lack of formalizations, lack of access to markets, obsolete technologies, lack of skilled manpower, and lack of common facilities like testing labs, treatment plants, and so some other requirements. Central government has taken several steps to keep this sector strong. Central government recently initiated several new measures and initiatives like reduction in the corporate income tax from 30% to 22%, and for new manufacturing units set up after the 1st October 2019 at 15%. There's a lot of excitement regarding this corporate tax reduction all across the country as well as outside the country, and I'm sure Punjab is going to benefit significantly, particularly through the new investments that will come as a result of its initiative and this summit. The credit expansion to public sector banks has increased. The GST refund to MSMEs are ensured within 30 days, and sanction of MSME loans within 59 minutes as a part of the PM's MSME outreach program, and the gradual implementation of the UK Sinha Committee recommendations. If you look at the bank figures, the bank financing to the MSMEs has not declined. In fact, it has increased at almost 20% rate this year compared to the previous year. It is the NBFC's financing to MSMEs that has come down, and that is where both the state governments and the central government have to see how to revive NBFC financing to the MSMEs. Punjab is taking advantage of various ongoing schemes like the Credit Guarantee Scheme for the micro and the small units, the PM Mudra Yojana, and the Credit Linked Capital Subsidy Scheme. As lack of common facility centers is a major problem afflicting the MSMEs in India, optimal utilization of resources and capital can be ensured through these CFCs. 4 such CFCs are under various stages of implementation, and 2 more have received in-principle approval. The central government also brought out a Public Procurement Order 2015 mandating every central government ministry, department and public sector undertakings to procure minimum of 20% of the total annual value of goods or services from the micro and small enterprises. And I'm very happy to note that Punjab has also come out with its own public procurement policy, giving an incentive particularly to those which are producing within Punjab. Government has also moved an amendment bill to change the definition of MSMEs under the MSME Development Act 2006 to an annual turnover-based definition from the existing criteria of defining MSMEs based on investment in plant and machinery. Punjab is indeed uniquely positioned to become the supply hub for the Himalayan states and other border states. The MSMEs in Punjab can boost the economy of the state and neighboring states through backward and forward linkages and excellent infrastructure facilities. I wish the Investor Summit all success, and once again thank Government of Punjab for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on MSMEs in the growth story of India and Punjab. Thank you so much.
Dr. Mahapatra, thank you very much for addressing the subject with such insights and eloquence. Present with us today, ladies and gentlemen, is a leading industrialist from the highly regarded Hero Group, which has done Punjab proud. For a first-hand account and to share his recent experience of investing in Punjab, let's now invite and listen to Mr. Pankaj Munjal, Chairman and Managing Director, Hero Cycles.
Minister Saab, Sundar Sham Arora ji, Ms. Vinnie Mahajan, backbone of Punjab, secretaries, state government officials, ladies and gentlemen. Good noon. First, I want to thank the state. Ms. Vinnie Mahajan called me one day on 14th of August 2018, and I said, what wrong have I done? But anyway, she called me, I met her, and ek hum land ki bare baat kar rahe the. She had a paper pencil in her hand, and she made me write, what do you want? Aur saath mein sign kar diya tha. And she left the date blank. She's a sharp woman. She did not have a sign ke niche date. Sign ki value date ke saath hi hoti hai. So, to cut the story short, we were wanting a chunk of land, and ma'am, I think in January, the land packet was ready and the land was given to us. So thank you for everything. That is the base that started off, and it's really inspiring how you all work. I've been asked to share about my experiences, so I'm going to share in 3 stories. I started my work in 1990, son of a big family name. In 2000, I was called to the boardroom by my father, and we had to shut that business. So my father was a very tough man. I had not seen the color of his eyes. So what he said was to be done, and we shut it. We used to make Puk mopeds that time. Hero Puk moped hota tha pehle, 10-15 saal pehle. So we were focusing on, that cost cutting, market nahi hai, cost kato. But they were not relevant that time. Market had gone to this motorcycle and scooters and whatever. So I learned from that example a sense of purpose. Where is the goal? What are you there for? What do you stand for? That goal had moved. Lesson number 1. Uske baad I went to the factory. We had employees, we had debt, business nahi tha. So we sat with the people and he said, hey guys, we have a problem, what to do? So we put our heads together. Email us time start ho gayi thi, 2000 mein na, somewhat email accounts, and it was like growing that time. We sat in a room and we started to shoot emails to everybody. Har roz main bhi baithta tha wahi kamre mein to shoot. Jo bhi address mila, email ID mili, shoot kar diya. Then Bombardier Inc., they make corporate jets in Canada. Unka ek aaya Joseph Furlinga. He came in the morning at 8 a.m. to the factory conference room, and he said, I need this gearbox. So we looked at each other, gears so we don't know. For moped ke andar gear hote the. So he thought we knew gears. So by 9 p.m. we had signed a contract. We'll say we'll do it. And we did it. And we did it very well. That's become a world leader, that gear company has become a world leader. The second lesson I learned is fear of failure. That is a big driver. We had that failure, what to do? The team will leave. Not one man left that time. After that, we tasted success. It was very good. International business, BMW, Audi, Aston Martin, everybody started to buy from us. So we got a little bit confidence in our guts don't lie. Then one day I got a phone that Delphi factory hai, wahan pe Ahmedabad ke paas mein, they are selling the asset. So got a phone in the morning at 10, and 2 o'clock I was sitting there. So usne kaha, it was only assembly plant. So they wanted 1 crore rupees. I said, let's do it. So raat ko main baat karni thi, India raat ko, aur wahan pe subah tha America mein. So I told him, you're going to pay your consultants, give me some discount. So 25 lakh de de asset discount. So why pay a consultant? I mean, I'll send you this money tomorrow. He was a sharp guy, kehta 50-50. So we did the deal at night. We started that 1 crore asset on August. In October, we valued that 1 crore asset for 50 crores and sold half to ZF. Today, that asset builds half of BMW car in India. Adi car BMW ke jo shell hai, that is built by them, lower chassis is built by us. Third I learned is a laser sharp goal. If you have a goal, you will hit it. If you don't have a goal, then it's a problem. These three fundamentals have been driving my life. I'll run through a few slides to tell you what we have done now in the last few years. And it's a lot of Punjab entrepreneurship DNA that makes us drive this. Okay. We've got 15 plants, locations, R&D centers around the world. The left side is the cycle business. We have 5% of the world market. Our premium brands are called Firefox. Let me do my marketing and selling over here. In England, we have a company, Everset. Hero's fourth in UK as yet, but we aspire to be going higher. The BMW gearbox that I mentioned, that is on the left-hand side in Greater Noida. It's a very modern plant. Then we are doing all of these facilities worldwide. Our latest one is in Berlin, H&F Nikolai. Here e-bikes ban rahi hain, and that is a very fast-growing market. E-bikes is a very good vehicle to be. It makes fat men thinner. You enjoy cycling, and you move, and you burn. These are our 5 core competence. Every company is a leader in this. Any company that will excel, that ZF Hero, the chassis business that we talked about, Munjal Kiryu is a Sumitomo joint venture. Mitsui people are sitting here. They own Yamaha motorcycle. They are the next people in a cycle valley, which ma'am showed over there. She didn't talk, but it was written in a presentation. I was thinking 2 words bol doge. And our bicycle business spans in with these brands around the world. We are country specific. We are very sensitive on segmentation of market. Who do we address? It's different. The man to buy a Firefox, the man to buy Hero Cycle, the man to buy InSync brands in England, they are different people. They're buying things are different. So Hero is a leader in all the segments. And the next one is the automotive pillar. Next is the automotive pillar. These are again, as I mentioned, Sumitomo with Munjal Kiryu, ZF, and our company in England, which is making gear for Aston Martin, Formula One, McLaren companies. Now, in the last decade that has gone by, since we found our feet after the closure of that business, we've been able to do like this. Now our team sat down, okay, what next? What is the next wave? What is the next sense of purpose? This ball is, markets are dynamic, they're moving. So now we've aspired for the following. Hero has got, has to be connected to the main road, and then it will be real, it will be live. It will be an e-bike platform for the world. It has to change. Delhi mein, if you park all the cars bumper to bumper, the roads are shorter. In Europe, they have seen this. This is a solution. We can be exposed to this. Only if we get cycling lanes over here, our lives will change. AQI, all this index will improve better. Our children will be able to go without mask to school. So just a safe cycling lane is required, and then it's a learning. We don't have to study. We just have to see. Let's copy. So Hero has launched these e-bikes. Yamaha is a partner with them, and they're doing very well. Small market, but 70% market share. And this is the way. In the last one that you see, and the running cost is the near zero. No fuel, no challan, there's no license. So it's really a need of the society getting fulfilled. These are further, I'm into sales and marketing. I can't help but sell my products. So please check it out in our showroom, herocycle.com pe jaoge. Somebody will come home and give you a delivery, give you a demo. Our next, our sales have gone, it's a small base. So 33% means big, but it's a small base. Month over month, we are growing by 30%. But that's India. Now with H&F Nikolai, we open German market. How do we feed Germany? It's a dream in the head. Are we competitive? Do we have the engineering capabilities? No. Next. So we shifted our styling studio to England. Come to think of it, bicycle or anything that you see, you have to like it first with your eye. The color, the graphics, the fits, the finish. So England is a fashion capital, good graphic designers we got, and they did this. बहुत खर्चा हुआ. We were seeing activity-based costing कितना हुआ है. But देखते देखते हीरो साइकिल की average selling price moved up 50%. All that technology, graphics, flow, waterfall came down to India. And the bikes that we make here have gone up. So it went out. Now what we have done from last week, and personally I'll be spending some time in Berlin now, we got 2 lakh square foot now factory there, and we'll build e-bikes. In last decades, people wanted to buy from low-cost countries, China, Vietnam, India. Today, it is different. They want short supply chains. They don't want only savings. It's a risk to buy all red bikes and they'll get locked in. You have to unlock the supply chain. So in Germany will be customization and we will feed them. Indian cost and German engineering ke saath, we will feed the supply chain. This is the brand architecture. This is all that we are. All of Hero, what we are talking about is a perception, the brand. Every day we worship this slide, and this is what we work for, this is what we polish, and this is what we hone. All the 7,000 people that we are direct employees are to sharpen this focus. Punjab government, this is my promise, a dream in paper. It's now on the ground, and then it will be real. 10% of the world production will be built here. Punjab government, to see backbone jo haath rakhde ho, you pick up a phone call, WhatsApp answer kar dende ho, thank you, these are small things, but they matter a lot. When we go outside, that's what we tell them. This is the way that they work. So thank you, ma'am. Rajat ji, I can't see you, but it's very nice when you turn back. It's very motivating to show to your own people, this is the way we are moving. This is the backing we have. So this will be real. Our architects and all are all the best in the world, and the bicycles will go around the world. India mein market is growing at a certain pace. It will be export-oriented unit. Why will it succeed? The markets are flat. It's a big risk we are taking. And India is not going through the best of the time. Mitsui is looking at some share equity in one of our daughter companies, and they came, India's not at the best time. 3 months later. 3 months later karte saal ho gaya. But I mean, we are not going to the best time. But still, visions don't change. You don't, for your dasha, you don't change your disha. That is the pull. That is the goal pulling us. How we will do it? In Ludhiana factory, which is from my father and my uncle's time, we have, piche jana, go back. How will we do this? How will we succeed? In a flat market, are we competitive? We will be 10% cheaper. We'll be 100% better. 100% better means into 2 selling price realization. Bicycle, unlike auto or anything, higher the price, better the sale. It's fashion, it's fitness, it's very personal. So there's a lot of global benchmarking. It's an auto and cycle JV kind of best practices. The people are being shifted from the auto and making CFTs, cross-functional teams that are working. So it's a new you, it's a new beginning, green build. There'll be milk runs. Our running cost is 0. So all the suppliers over there will keep the goods at the gate. Our truck will go and then pick it up, and no separate small short trucks will be coming in. So there's a lot of planning with Toyota. Tushu is our partner there, and just in sequence supplies, like whatever we've learned in the automotive is coming up here. So Ludhiana and Punjab, let's get ready. Mitsui is announced sitting here to make big investments around India. They're already doing, right from food to engineering. Mr. Muthu, you can raise your hand and tell everybody. So this is what we are looking for now. Next. we are seeking components, not cheap components, expensive components, value components, highly engineered components. Aaj ki sale is the bottom line. That is the level we have to jump to. We have to jump to that level that the net margins is the top line today. It's a new customer, new technology, new cash flow, new country. It's a new beginning. In e-bikes, we need a battery partner, we need supplier base of this, we need drive units, but we need, of course, the best JV partner. And in automotive, we are becoming a electrical EV base. So Hero Cycle will be identified with EVs going forward, with e-bike. There's a company, Rivian. It's a very, like a Tesla is in car, they are in trucks. We are the transmission makers for them, single source, into the US. So this is the kind of customers we have. So Hero is a learning organization and hungry for growth, and what I've learned from my father, कि सबको साथ में लेके चलो and you'll go longer. So I'll end my class दिखा दो. So this is the little more detail. I'll skip this slide. Okay, we can skip this. This is more detailing and platform. So what was a net, जो बोलते ना net worth negative, debt and capital and liabilities are there and काम नहीं है. From there we've come to a 7,500 people base. There's a good asset base and the revenue. This, in my goal, is half of 2012.
Akhil Bansal, Deputy CEO, KPMG India. This will be a half-hour discussion. And now also our panelists. Sandhar Technologies Limited. Mr. Sachid Madan, Chief Executive, Fresh Fruit and Vegetables and Frozen Food, ITC. Ms. Bhavna Bhatia, Program Leader, World Bank. Dr. Rene van Berkel, Representative, Regional Office, India, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, and Mr. Sarbjit Singh Samra, Managing Director, Capital Small Finance Bank. I'll now hand the floor to Mr. Akhil Bansal.
Mic on. Thank you. Thank you so much. How much time do we have now? Or we have half an hour because it seems to be running late. I've got the mic. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I feel privileged to be part of this extraordinary initiative by Government of Punjab. And it's so heartening to see such immense participation, not only from the government, but also from the private sector. I've been told that there are MSME entrepreneurs from all the district of Punjab here, so very good to see that. Punjab, no doubt in my mind, is a very MSME focused state and has done a tremendous job with about 15 lakh MSME units in the Punjab, and which has grown about 15% over 2016. And more interestingly, when you look at Punjab, historically what used to be small enterprises have spawned to become large organizations at the national level with global reach. And we have just heard Mr. Munjal. It's a great story among many stories coming from Punjab. There is a spirit of entrepreneurship in the land of Punjab, and which is very fascinating. And we at KPMG in India also realizes the importance and potential that the state carries, and we were the first among the consulting firm to open an office in the state of Punjab. And we are very proud of working with the progressive team of Punjab government on various initiatives, including ease of doing business. And we are proud to be associated as a knowledge partner for this event. When it comes to MSME sector, MSME has been the backbone of any economy across the world. When you look at the world in terms of number of units, 90% plus of the businesses are in the category, whatever name they may be given in different part of the world, but what we call MSME in India. 50% of employment actually comes from MSME sector. And it plays a very important role as far as employment is concerned. And if you look at what World Bank has predicted, estimated, that 60 crore jobs will be required for all the new generation which is joining the workforce. MSME will continue to play a large role. In India also, as we have already heard, 30% of our GDP comes from MSME sector, 45 to 50% of exports are from MSME sector, 11 crore jobs are there, and we are adding 1.2 crore per annum to the workforce each year, and therefore those many jobs are required, and therefore MSME will play certainly a very important role. But 4 or 5 things which to my mind are critical from MSME sector perspective, whether it is access to capital, access to infrastructure, access to market, and more importantly, the awareness and knowledge about the regulations, about the policies, about the infrastructure, about the global market, how to access that is very critical. And last but not the least, the technology innovation which are happening. If MSME is not able to keep pace with that, no one in the world would buy a product just out of the sympathy. So whether you are small, you are big, technologically your product has to be up to date, and only then you will survive. With that context, let me start the discussion, and I'm privileged to have an excellent panel here, not only in terms of the quality of individuals who are there on the panel, but also the diversity of this panel. We have the world organizations, we have a financier on the panel, we have a large industry who's part of the ecosystem for MSME, and we have an MSME becoming a large organization itself. But let me start with you, Ms. Bhatia. India Country Partnership Framework for financial year 2018 to 2022 talks about many things, but the three key priorities over there is to build environment to catalyze firms to grow their market share and fit into the ecosystem of global change. You have been quite engaged with the state of Punjab as World Bank. What are the key programs you are already working on or you're planning from MSME perspective?
Thank you. A pleasure to be here in this room full of so much of excitement and energy to support the growth of Punjab. From the World Bank, I would like to mention that for us, for the next 4 years under our country partnership framework, one of the key focus areas to support the government is essentially to help competitiveness in the country and help create an enabling framework that will actually catalyze jobs. And I think MSME is at the center of that. I think MSME holds the potential, the numbers that have been talked about, who can really offer the opportunity for India to not just create the jobs, but actually take the India to the path of growth in the global economy that we're all aspiring for. So what is it that the bank is really trying to do? As you know, I think there's been tremendous progress through the ease of doing business in terms of the way India is moving up the ladder. I think to take advantage of that movement, this is the time for MSMEs to be able to actually deliver and take on the opportunities that are lying ahead of us. So 4 specific things at the country level where we are focused on. First, in terms of how do you strengthen the business environment and firm capabilities? I think it's important to recognize that given the way the competitiveness is increasing, the firms will have to become much more agile, will have to become much more productive, and have to grow. I think what we find is that the firms in India, particularly in the MSME sector, are mostly concentrated in micro and small. So I think we do see that if the MSME sector has to be able to deliver to the objective that India is aspiring for, I think the growth and productivity of the firms will be key. And we all talk a lot about the skills, but I think what our global experience is showing us is both enhancing managerial capabilities and leveraging the technology platforms is what is going to help the firms be able to compete and to be able to be in the bandwidth of the margins that today they're looking at. It's really thinning in terms of the margins that you have. Second important, logistics connectivity. I think very crucial, and I think it's heartening to see the kind of efforts that Punjab has put together, constantly coming out as the ranking number second in terms of the logistics, despite being a landlocked state. I think what the state has shown is there's potential to be able to leverage the logistics. So I think this is a huge plus the state has, which must be leveraged. Third important area where the bank is focusing on is what you talked about, access to finance. And I think there are two aspects to it. One, I think we need to make our financial sector more resilient. I think we are seeing right now there are stresses in the system which needs the right policy interventions to be able to make sure that the flow of resources, particularly for MSME sector, are eased off, because unless those set of reforms take place, the constraint that will be felt would be most felt with the MSME sector. Second part is, how do you actually start to innovate and think about access to finance, particularly for small and medium enterprises? And we're not even talking about the large amount of unorganized sector, which sits there and has the potential to move up the value chain. And I think that's where using more innovative instruments, building credit history, these are the kind of areas where the bank is very actively engaging. The last is around the skills, huge amount of support that we're providing in skill development, large programs around that. So just to kind of conclude and give more specific things what we are doing. So as of now, we are in the process of preparing almost a $500 million worth of project for MSME Ministry, which will benefit all the states. The focus will be in terms of helping to improve the systems and effectiveness of the various schemes that the government is offering, and in addition to that, what the state governments are offering. Second, at this point of time, we are particularly looking at agriculture value add as one of the segments, where again, Punjab has a huge potential. How do we help the India to move up its game on the agriculture value add? Some of the statistics that I have is only 2% of our fruits and vegetables are actually processed in this country. Take a lead. Also, if you look at the food processing in the global market, we're right now only around about 13% of the exports, and I think again a huge potential where we can. Coming to specifically two areas where we are also focusing, where the bank has been working quite extensively, and here again supporting the role of how do you link it to the global value chain? How do you bring the consortium of firms who focus on R&D, who focus on linking to the global markets, and to really innovate and see how can we, through these innovations, reach out to the global value chains in the market, both domestic as well as global. Technology centers, we actually are funding 35 technology centers. 2 of them are being upgraded in the state of Punjab, Jalandhar and Ludhiana, where the bank has put in resources to bring in cutting-edge technology for these centers and making it accessible, especially for the small micro firms which cannot afford these technologies all by themselves. Punjab, over the last 1 year, I am very, very pleased to say that this is the first state where the bank is actually working in an approach which is what we call as an integrated approach. Any of these challenges or problems that we are seeing cannot be done in a very siloed manner, and particularly MSME, if you look at, it touches across so many departments, sectors, ministries, etc. How do you think about an integrated approach? And our approach over here is going to focus on two aspects. First, make your system institutions resilient, strong, to be able to move from the policies to action on the ground. In terms of building the state capabilities, in terms of strengthening these systems across different departments, that's where the bank is focused on. Second, in terms of the sectors, certainly agriculture is one of the key priority areas, and linked to it the challenges the state faces around the groundwater management, etc. But really moving Punjab's agriculture more into a diversified economy, and therefore the opportunity to link to the opportunities in both domestic and global markets. That's the key focus of our engagement. And along with this, urbanization, which is the state again being one of the most urbanized state, how do you actually make sure our cities really becomes the engines of growth? So these are some of the areas we are particularly focusing in Punjab.
Thank you so much. These are not some of the areas there. You're almost covering end to end of what is required. So good to see that. I'm sure all of this will result into great results for MSME and great results for the state of Punjab. Dr. Burkle, if I can move to you. UNODO has been associated with India and running various programs towards the industrial sector. Can you elaborate on some of the programs you are doing, whether on a pan-India basis or for the state of Punjab, and more specifically on the MSME sector side?
Yes, thank you. So yeah, I represent UNIDO, the UN Industrial Development Organization. So we're basically working to promote industrialization, but for industrialization for the 21st century. So I say that we need factories that work for markets, for people, and for the environment. And that's then commensurate with inclusive and sustainable industrial development. We have some ongoing work in Punjab. Maybe a little bit outside here, but we work on biomedical waste management, where we supported 28 hospitals on waste segregation and also handling of the development of the infrastructure for common treatment facilities for biomedical waste. We have also worked with the DPIIT on the bicycle and bicycle parts industry in Ludhiana with the Research and Development Center for Bicycles and Sewer Machines, where we basically tried to scale up or improve and scale up the research center and the support which they can provide to smaller scale manufacturers of components and so on. And I think a lot of work went into really testing of components, also moving into the e-bikes and into advanced designs of bicycle components. On the third component, which touches upon Punjab, we are working quite extensively with Bureau of Energy Efficiency on energy efficiency. So in Jalandhar, in the hand tools cluster, we set up an energy monitoring cell, which is basically helping the companies to first start monitoring energy use and then try to control this. So if I give you some figures, so far about 30 MSMEs have benefited from these services. They saved 250 tons of oil equivalent. They achieved 1.8 crores of savings for an investment of 1.2 crores, sorry. So we're looking to scale this up in the coming year to about 90 units in the hand tool sector, and then also expand this to cover all the 14 dairy units in the state. So we have quite a footprint on the MSME sector. And indeed, in our country program, which we have with DPIIT, we have a very strong focus on what we call them productive and resilient MSMEs. So also looking at the long-term viability of the MSMEs. I mean, I often go that we say we have the two extremes very much. So we have very advanced ones, but by and large, we see that MSMEs are still underperforming in terms of quality, productivity, occupational health and safety, and so on. And this is a really a challenge that we see. So currently there's a level of underperformance which is hidden in the MSME sector. And I think a further factor is that, of course, manufacturing globally is changing, and the preparedness for change, like Industry 4.0, or how are we going to deal with the circular economy, or how do we deal really with the demands of the global value chains. So if you want to, first of all, address this issue of, let's call it underperformance, We see a lot of initiatives around access to finance, which we basically see, and access to market, which we see in terms of incentivizing. But from our perspective and our conversations which we've had with the business sector, we also see that there's a need to address firm level capabilities, as my previous speaker was saying. So we really need to build world-class manufacturing to really grasp the opportunities. Incentives will only work if there's internal capability to compete. And in that, I think we formed 4 levers where we see changes needed. And one of them is, of course, in the business information system. So how do we actually provide information and on technology, on good practices to the, the two-crow manufacturing MSMEs. Then I think a further point is how do we provide end-to-end support on innovation? So there's a lot of good ideas around in the institutions, in the research sector, also individuals, but we kind of have a difficulty of hand-holding on each stage of commercialization of this intellectual property or this clean tech innovation related issues. And the third point, I think we also have an issue that to really drive productivity as a mindset. I've argued before that maybe what is needed for India, for Punjab, is a kind of a national drive for productivity. Something like Swachh Bharat, we've had to clean up our city environments. We need to also clean up the manufacturing sector. And if I take one of the programs which we do with the automotive components sector, is that really this shows if you try to bring in lean manufacturing, Kaizen, and so on, really what we should say is manufacturing 101 right now. We still have so much savings that can be made. And then fourth point is that we need to address, certainly in the established or older industrial zones, to address the environmental challenges which we have created from the past. So I think that is also listening where our offer of potential support to the state could be. We are very much interested to see the growth of the manufacturing sector. So we need to see that tiny becomes micro becomes small, medium, large. And there is some hand-holding and capability to be done. We're also very keen, I don't have time to elaborate on this, but how we set up industrial zones that are then productive, but also deal with the environmental issues. And last but not least, I think that we need to work on, if we want to be part of global value chains, we need to have a product that's innovative and high quality, but we also need to be ready to meet these sustainability expectations of the market, so meet environmental performance and social performance. So these are just some of the areas that we will be very keen to engage with, and we are ready to stand Punjab, to support Punjab government. Thank you.
It's good to have both World Bank and UNIDO working in these sectors. That would be very helpful. Mr. Samra, if I can move to you. But before I raise a question, congratulations of your latest round of funding. As I said earlier, access to finance is a key factor for success, more so in MSME sector, and you are running a small finance bank. As a market leader in your segment in the state of Punjab, you must be dealing with a lot of MSMEs across the state. How do you see the MSME ecosystem coming up or evolving over the last few years?
Thank you, Mr. Bansal, for your comments. Just to give you a brief idea of what we are doing and how we have evolved, we are a homegrown bank grown out of local area. Now got an opportunity to convert ourselves to small finance bank when, of course, we have opportunity now to go pan-India. But since earlier at the local area bank, before our conversion 3.5 years back, we were operating out of only 5 districts of Punjab. So we thought that Punjab is a niche market for us. And even though we have started expanding to other neighboring states, but as of now, we have 150 branches, and out of that, 133 are in Punjab. And our focus area for lending is, of course, agriculture and MSMEs. To be precise, like 33% of the loan portfolio is agri and 30% is now MSME. MSME was earlier around 23 before this expansion, but it is increasing. And it is, now we are present almost all over Punjab. And when we talk about, like to give you a fair idea of MSMEs around, since we are, as your question is also, we have been interacting with them. And of course, we have been financing them. Most of them have grown over a period of time with us. Our experience have been excellent. You can just judge from this that we are with the least NPAs from, otherwise the NPA level is very healthy with the bank. The net NPAs are slightly below 1%. And from MSME still it is lower. And even from the current round of funding which has come, which you mentioned, say from the current expansion also, we are expanding now 26 branches and 20 again we are putting up in Punjab. So a lot of the capital that has come will still go for expansion into Punjab. But of course, forums like this, the initiatives of the Punjab government like this, creates networking for MSMEs, both nationally as well as globally, which is the need of the hour. But of course, since the audience, majority of us are MSMEs. And what I do feel when we, over my experience for all these years, that sometimes we do feel that we are very small, maybe we don't need that kind of professionalism in the management. And as Mr. Munjal was, while he was giving his presentation, if we gather from that, we need to develop new products and services as the world and the markets are evolving. And of course, we are to create a brand value. And it is my advice to you to bring in a professionalism in the management, and then of course to have a very robust governance system. Even if we are small, tomorrow if we are to attract, I would say, capital, or we are to lead our segment from the front, we need to be focused. And if we are focused, then there's no end to that. This is, I am very bullish about MSMEs in Punjab, and that we'll keep on funding all good MSMEs. And there are n number of examples. I don't want to quote the names, like who started with us 19 years back, and over a period of time, few have gone large. We still have some exposure of them. Of course, we have our limitations and all, but I'm quite bullish about the state of Punjab. And it is going to be a niche market. Presently it is, and for the time to come also, it is going to be. Thank you.
Great to hear that. You talked about less than 1% of NPA. That reminds me a lighter note. You know, when a large company takes a loan, when the small company takes a loan, MSME takes a loan, it is the burden which the MSME entrepreneur carries on his or her mind or shoulders to how to repay. When a large company takes a loan, it becomes the burden of the bank manager to recover that money. So, you know, 1% reflects what you are saying. Moving on to Mr. Madan, ITC is one of the largest conglomerates in India, and you are deeply invested in Punjab, whether it's through the integrated food park or various other projects you are doing in this state. I want you to talk about the collaboration which is required between the government, the large industry, and the small industry that create the ecosystem for sustainable growth for MSME sector. How do you see that? What are your thoughts about it?
You know, sitting here, one of the things I realize is that the time of MSMEs has come. You know, normally when we were, the era we were grown up for small scale units, and we had a very condescending attitude towards small scale. Today, when Punjab kicks off its Invest Punjab with MSME, it fills me with pride. I think we recognize the fact that Punjab is serious about MSME, and forget Punjab, the world is serious about MSMEs. And why not? I mean, today's MSME is tomorrow's corporate giant. it's very clear that innovation and real innovation does not come from large corporates. It may come in once in a while. We used to talk about GE, we talk about other companies. But the best electric car did not come from General Motors. It came from Tesla. You know, the IBM didn't invent it, and so on and so forth. And that's really where the future is, per se. Within ITC, and from our experience, what we have really recognized is that MSMEs are like, young children. They need a little bit of hand-holding. They need a little bit of encouragement. And I think most importantly, they don't need to be told, they don't need to have hindrances, which is what we kind of say, you can't do this, and so on and so forth. But there are certain businesses we have created around MSMEs. For example, our entire stationery business is created around MSMEs. It's only manufactured in MSMEs. And what do we do there? And we have actually an agarbatti business, a biscuit business, and a food processing also. To look at localization, local expertise, we have gone into MSMEs. And what we are trying to do there is to give them quality upgradation, technology inputs, because as their quality and technology improves, we also end up improving. We also help them with finance, as they rightly said, that's a one big problem per se. And some bit of hand-holding in the regulatory arena. So if I see from a governmental point of view and that collaboration, I think it is the way the government holds hands of large corporates, and I think that's something which is happening here. We actually need to put our best guys to hold the hands of MSMEs. See, unfortunately, MSMEs won't come up with 1 lakh crore investment. But the fact that today India is the second largest country in the world with MSMEs, I think we have about 36 million MSMEs. And the fact that this is the future, we need to get our stars here. This is where, as you rightly said, the employment is coming. This is what needs the most help. This is which doesn't have that huge infrastructure in place per se. So one area I would say in collaboration which could help is in this area. And the area of financing, I think, will change. The entire aggregation economy, which is now developed, and the aggregation economy, I talk about Airbnb, I talk about Ola's, Uber's, Amazon's, which is also an aggregated marketplace, is entirely dependent on MSMEs. So sooner they are now getting access to finance, they are getting access to market. A lot of things is happening not even by us as big corporates, but also with this entire aggregation economy. And I think all of us in the large organized sector should be very wary that there will be some MSMEs which will come tomorrow and make us very irrelevant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Dabur, you have lived the journey from being MSME to a large organization. You are a very successful story which everybody would aspire to be. How do you see what needs to be done? How is the world looking at MSME sector in India? How can we do far more than we have been able to do so far?
That's an interesting question. All I have to say for starters is that the next 5 years for MSMEs are going to be more evolutionary than what the last 100 have been, which means the relevance of your business is at stake. So while a lot of good things are being said here, let me put out some of the danger areas that you have to see. A lot of MSMEs are called businesses without the purpose of that MSME being defined. And I think that becomes relevant because